neighbours, she simply couldn't afford to live. Now her son has released her suicide note in which she says, "Don't blame yourself for me ending my life. It's my life. The only people to blame are the government." Stephanie had 2 extra bedrooms in her home here in Solihull, which made her liable for a welfare cut under the so-called bedroom tax. Neighbours say she was tortured about how she would afford the extra £20 a week.
It was a shock, it was awful. I think it was absolutely disgraceful. All she needed was a bit of guidance and help and a bit of leniency on their part. It's just dreadful.
Well, she told the wife that she was, finding it very difficult and find it quite stressful. But you just don't expect that, do you? So.
Through Stephanie's death, I think some good might come out of it, hopefully, with this tax, because it's such an unfair tax. It's such an unfair tax. There's people in this road that have been here 30, 40 years, and they're all frightened. They're frightened in case it's going to happen to them.
Mrs. Bottrell's son Stephen told the Sunday People she was fine before this bedroom tax. It was dreamt up in London by people living in offices and big houses. They have no idea the effect it has on people like my mum.
I don't know the details of her case, it's clearly a tragedy, but I know from my own constituents there are people who are having terrible trauma. 2/3 of people affected by the bedroom tax are disabled. Now, I'm for tough welfare reform, but not hitting the most vulnerable.
Mrs. Bottrell died after being struck by a lorry here on the M6. The Samaritans say causes are always complex, but figures released earlier this year show that UK suicide rates have markedly increased in these hard economic times. Certainly the UK government's now under growing pressure to justify its policy.
I think those are very tragic circumstances, and certainly I think to try and link them in any way to a general discussion from politicians, I think would be wrong.
Stephanie had lived here for 18 years, raising 2 children as a single mother. Can one tax policy really have pushed her over the edge? Jason Farrell, Sky News.
Jason Farrell reporting there. Let's take you back to the scenes at Old Trafford tonight as preparations are made for the trophy to be lifted aloft for the last time under at least this manager, although the indications are and the hints are from him there should be plenty more to come.